It's just because I remember, do you when you were at when you were in music classes, and I can't remember if it was at primary school or secondary school, and they played the Peter and the Wolf, and it's making that connection between a piece of music and a story kind
Yeah.
of thing. And from that opened up music to me, where I project my own stories, situations on it, kind of thing, and you'd hear a piece of music, and it had to be a thoughtful piece of music, not this kind of crap, that they make now, and the rave and all that kind of stuff. Gosh, sounding like me dad. But yeah, you just project, and sort of what I do in my head is I apply a story or some images to that music, because when it's going up and down tempo, it speeds up or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And with the lark ascending, for me, was you can visualize the lark going up and down as it does on the moors,
Yeah,
up and down, kind of thing.
I'll have to check that out. I haven't heard. I probably have heard it.
Yeah,
but it doesn't ring a bell right now.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, now your Facebook page brought me to an understanding that you were getting involved in a lot of community work. And when I say a lot of community work, I mean you were doing charity events, you were doing fundraisers, which I guess are charity events, you were doing fun stuff for kids, etc. And also one big thing that I'm really proud of you for is the Remembrance Day stuff.
The
poppies and that's the work that you do for that is incredible. So
no, the thing is I've no children, so that gives me a load of time to myself. I've never been into hobbies. And as you get older, sometimes you become a bit more thoughtful and more considered about the people around you. I remember years ago, I was doing a job for a Japanese company, and we were talking about the Japanese and the way they are to one another. And one of the traits of the Japanese is they consider first and foremost the actions that they do on others, kind of thing. And there was that kind of respect. So you wouldn't go out your way to piss someone off or be horrible and stuff like that. Whereas in the Western culture, it seems to start with it. But I just quickly realised that there's the majority, by far, in this world are good people. And the horrible people in the sminiest minority. But because of media and all these kind of things, they seem to get the biggest voice. So when I moved back up here, the funny thing is, I moved back. I was on my way to Australia. I'd been over Australia looking for somewhere to live and settle. And then my sister rang me up and said my mum had had a heart attack. So I came up and I sort of reevaluated where I was actually going. So I decided to move back, because I thought I'd spend some quality years with my mum. So I got 12 years out of it. And I jokingly used to say to people, when I came back because my mum was ill and I thought she wasn't going to be around long. And then I'd finish it off and say, 10 years later, she's still clinging on for dear life, kind of thing. But it was really important, kind of thing. And because it was my own town, I think the thing that triggered it was the planning application for 1,700 houses on the old local works.
So sorry to interrupt you, but Horwich was known as it went through its different things. Obviously, it was a coal mining place at one point. Mills were there, textile mills, but one of the biggest. Pardon?
Bleach
works, right? But one of the biggest things that Horwich was ever known for was, in actual fact, making train repairing train engines,
making trains, yeah.
making train engines, the cars, that kind of stuff. The local rail works, if you had a job at the rail works, you were set for life.
Yeah.
Until Margaret Thatcher came in. Am I wrong about that?
It was, I think what it was British, yeah, they were looking to sell off British Rail and all these big industries, the telecoms, the water, the gas, electricity, big industry. And what they had to do is make it more appealing to investors. They destroyed them. They went in and asset stripped them. So with the locomotive works, at its height, there was about 8,000 people working there.
Yep.
Right? In a town of 20,000. So they weren't all from Horwich, they were from Blackrod and a bit further afield. But at that time, there was probably about 5,000 people who used to work there. So they used to build locomotive steam engines and stuff like that. But then they eventually went into the renovation of them. And then from that, they went into renovating the carriages. So, but then in '83, as you remember, it got closed down. I don't know about you, but do you remember going for an interview for your careers? And the guy who was doing it, he went to me, so what do you fancy doing? And he says, what about going to the local locomotive works and doing a electrical or this or that? And I looked at him and I said, well, this was '84. I said to him, you do know it closed last year. But it all started, locomotives were a big thing, but the thing is, there was hundreds of thousands of tons of contamination on there.
Was that right?
Yeah, oh God. They renovated 85,000 locomotive steam engines, right? And on the steam engines, they used to lag them with asbestos.
Right.
And it was blue asbestos called croglodyte, and that is the most serious asbestos you can come in contact with.
I think I dated her, but
yeah, I think there was a girl called asbestos.
Oh, croglodyte.
Yeah, croglodyte, asbestos croglodyte. So the thing is, everything that was done on that site was built there, and it was chucked there. Hundreds of thousands of tons of asbestos, you name it, it was over there. PCBs. So I set up this group because I didn't think the local council, Bolton Council, would take it seriously about the contamination because they hardly ever mentioned it. So I actually set up a group called Horwich Local Works Action Group to bring people's attention to the amount of contamination on there. And then that evolved into joining up with another group, and I founded with another guy called Horwich First.
Now,
and that was
you built these groups on Facebook, is that correct?
Yes, we did, and then we met up, in person. Yeah. So then we sort of combined the two into Horwich First, because we wanted to make them aware of what was going on with the development, the fact that Horwich had fared really badly over the last 40 years under the rule of Bolton, and eventually it sort of evolved a bit more into a community group, because we're doing things in the community, litter picking, charity events, helping people with all kinds of stuff, as well as we would call it a kind of a political community group kind of thing, but it was a community group. And from that, we wanted to involve people in the community, start getting people together kind of thing, because it'd all been fractured. So we started, with help from some fantastic people, notably Kath Lancaster and Carl Roberts. You remember Carl Roberts?
I do.
Yeah. So I organised this idea for a full Monty. And one thing I'm very good at is getting people to do stuff that they don't want to do. So loads are over the head. Anyway, we did this full Monty, the first one, and it was proper full Monty. I got a brass band playing the tunes, we had singers, we had all kinds of things. and it was a fantastic evening. We and it couldn't have happened without the people involved in it. A guy called Ben Watkinson and Carl Roberts and Kath Lancaster, and all the people who did the strip. I don't know if you remember a guy called Gary Whittingham.
Oh, good God, yeah.
Yeah, did he? And we had a guy with the biggest willy in Norwich, but he had to, no pun intended, he had to pull out because he did his back in.
No way.
Yeah. So, because we had Kath Lancaster was doing all the routine, so they'd come out, and it was high product values to doing it,
Yeah.
And when they came out, the brass band started playing behind the curtain opened, the brass band started playing that do 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 do, and with a brass band in a hall in the RMI, it was just phenomenal kind of thing.
That must have got the goosebumps going on your cheeks.
Yeah. So it was just hard work, incredibly hard work, doing it for everybody. We raised lots of money for prostate cancer and testicular cancer, and we split the money between those two charities at Christie's in Manchester, and the other half we distributed through local community groups. People who didn't tend to get any money, kind of thing. It's a few £100 there or whatever, but it helped them to do something. So so the other thing was we did me and another guy, we did an event around a football team and stuff like that. It's called St Mary's, and there was a family fun day, and as part of that family fun day, there was the world famous Bob's Brew duck race.
Right. World famous. I've heard of it over here.
World famous Bob's Brew duck race.
Yeah.
So I sort of organised that part of it, and it was just absolutely the kids and stuff like that. There's a lovely video of it. I'll send it to you.
Please.
Because there's a guy called Peter Ravald, and he was in 2 years above us. And Peter had just started playing with drones and stuff like that and videos. And there's another fantastic video that he did for the Full Monty.
Yeah.
It's funny as hell. It's
I'm not sure I see a drone version of the Full Monty.
Yeah, it's so bad, but there's, and I just love that the community coming together, because I don't know if you remember when we were kids, everyone used to play down Bob's Brew and play in the water during the summer and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, hold on. For those of you that don't know, and that's everybody over here in Canada, Bob's Brew is a place in Harwich, and basically there's a lot of fields, soccer fields, football fields. There's is it the Dougie, River Douglas, that runs through it?
River Douglas, yeah.
Yeah. There's a river that runs through it. There's a bit of waterfall action going on in there. It's just basically a green space that everybody enjoys.
He's surrounded by farm fields and stuff like that. And
right.
Harwich is very fortunate to be right next to some of the most stunning, countryside kind of thing, in its own little right kind of thing. And Bob's Brew is a beautiful place to come. And it's got the way the river works is there's a kind of a big pool where the waterfall is, where the older kids used to swim, and then further down where it goes around a bend, it's carved it out and it's a little shallower, and it's that's called the baby paddling pool. So you start off there.
I used to catch trout there.
Sorry?
I used to catch trout there.
Yeah. Oh, they're still there. Yeah.
No, not the ones I caught.
Well, I used to fish down there, never caught anything.
Really?
Yeah. So we had and the kids are running along watching the ducks. But the funny thing is, I got one of my friends. She's one of the councillors for the political party. She dropped the ducks into the water, and I'd been in the day before. No, someone else had been in the day before. Sort of clear it out a bit. The ducks didn't flipping float properly. They were on the sides.
Oh no!
Right. So anyway, they went down, and I was at the end with Gary Whittingham, and I was catching them. So the first one came down, and I shouted at the number, and we had a list, and someone said, "Oh, it's he's a famous Bolton Wanderers footballer. And I went, stuff that, chucked it, and picked another one. Because I wanted a little kid to get it, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
anyway, a young lad won it, and we got him a prize and stuff, a big fluffy duck that was donated. Yeah, so we do that, and then I did another full Monty, which included women. God, there wasn't a dry eye in that club that
It was
night.
that they were that ugly, eh?
Yeah, I'd say something. We're doing the lads again.
Yeah.
Different lineup.
Yeah.
We actually got the big Willie in this time because his back had fixed, you know. But we also, so they did their routine. We did a Raining Men with, I forgot the names.
The Weather
Mark
Girls?
Sorby. I think was it Mark Sorby or someone? Yeah, we did a Raining Man routine. I hired a drag queen to be the compere, and he was a young lad, originally from Horwich, first gig he had ever done in Horwich, and he was phenomenal.
That's
and
awesome.
Then we had the ladies. And what you can imagine is the amount of work that went into this. We had Kathy Lancaster's mum and a mother-in-law with other people making all these dresses and stuff like that. These ladies, I got them together and I said, right, okay, how far do you want to go? I said, because obviously there's going to be video cameras. And I'd bought these beautiful feather fans, 2 fans that they can actually use to dance. I says, you can reveal, you know, take your bra off and just go. And it was as if they'd said it all at the same time. They went, if the lads are getting the cocks out, we're getting our tits out. And I went, and keeping in mind, some of these women really courageous. You know, Leanne, she's had breast cancer, and she won't mind. You know, she had one removed and stuff like that. And the music that we played for that scene was "This Is Me." Do you know that? The Greatest Show on Earth, or whatever it's called. It's called "This Is Me."
No, I don't know that song, but
Have you not seen that? It's a musical called "This Is Me."
Hugh Jackman's in it, right?
Yeah. No, I don't know. It might be. I don't know. I've never actually seen it. But there's a beautiful song called "This Is Me," and a friend said, "Well, there's this girl, and she's a really good singer. She's from Poland." And I thought, all right, okay. I was just going to play some music. Anyway, I said, "Bring her along, and she can stand there and do an audition." There's me auditioning. It was like Phoenix Nights, I tell you, which inspired me for the video previously. Anyway, she got a stunning voice, absolutely stunning voice. You know.
Nice.
Again, you know, they did it. They unclothed themselves, the tops, and you know, everyone was crying. It was such a beautiful moment, kind of thing. I was stood at the back watching them, kind of, well, trying not to watch them because I was quite embarrassed. I didn't want to look.
I was at the back with my camera, and
but the thing is it wouldn't have happened without people in the community coming together to do these things. You know, no one could have done this on their own, and I hope that they all enjoyed it, kind of thing. You know, and everyone who did it, you know, was just. And the thing is, that's the beauty of Horwich, this community-based thing. And I know that I can ask loads of people, so will you do this? Can you help us with this? And they won't say no, kind of thing. Whereas when I'm selling tickets, I walk into a pub, I'm not kidding. I saw a handful of my friends run out the back door.
Shut up.
Yeah, I did, yeah. You know the toll bar?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah, because I used to go around Horwich and I'd have a brown envelope with tickets and posters to put them up and stuff around Horwich. And I'd walk into a pub to try and sell some tickets. And it got to the point where, what are you selling now, kind of thing.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. And there was one time I was walking in, and there was a lovely guy called Skelly, who died of cancer. And he asked if we could organise an event for him, so he could raise money for Christie's. And so we put this musical event on, cabaret type thing going on. And I'd organised with this burlesque group, one of the girls who was in it, or two of the girls, one of the girls, they were going to do a lap dance, but all of them had all the parents, not parents, sorry, the
What?
boyfriends or husbands. Yeah, that's how it's on. Yeah. But I asked her if she'd do one for Skelly,
Yeah.
and Skelly was one for the ladies, and it's just his face was a picture, and I thought, why was he looking so terrified? I sort of realised about 2 feet in front of him was his mum.
Oh no.
Yeah, yeah. So that was a carry on nurses event, and again that raised thousands and thousands of pounds for Christie's and stuff.
That's
like
wonderful.
that. And
wonderful.
It was a good tribute to him because he died not long after that kind of thing. So which was really sad. But he had met all his friends and stuff.
You were saying earlier about people that do charitable things for recognition.
Yeah.
It's not right when people do that. You do something for charity for the sake of doing it. Over here, people will say, do you want to donate to such a thing? If you give $10, you get a tax write-off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'll give you $10, but I don't want a tax write-off because I'm not doing it for my taxes. I'm doing it to help somebody. Right?
Yeah.
So, but the feeling that you get from helping charities, it's amazing. Being able to help those that don't have help. It's a phenomenal feeling.
The thing is, it shows, like last year, no, the year before, because last year was COVID, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The year before, we raised over £40,000 for the Royal British Legion, and that's just in Horwich. So that's £2 for every man and child in Horwich that gave to this group. And Horwich has always been incredibly, generous community kind of thing. And we put tables on at the supermarkets, and I get all kinds of people to volunteer on them. I tell you something, it's one of the best experiences you'll ever have. Sat on a table for the Royal British Legion, and people are going, "What would you like?" Nothing. And they'll put a tenner in the tin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or or do you want the change? No, we'll just put it in. And the generosity of people in Horwich, and we're trying to tap into that more and more, kind of thing, as a community, because we're in danger of just becoming so disconnected as a society. Living in. I mean, when I grew up, if you had a hedge or a fence, it was only about 3 feet high.
Yeah.
Now everyone's locking themselves in with big fences. Where I live, I have a patio, and I can see everyone's house because it just goes up into communal land. So we go out, and if I'm out and a neighbour, we'll have a chat. When people come and looked at my house, because it's been sold, I'm just waiting for it to complete. Some of the people who came round went, "Oh no, I don't like. I like a fence up. Can I put a fence up?" He said, "What you need to do is start bringing fences down, kind of thing."
Yeah.
And and it's this privacy. But with these fences, you don't get to know your neighbours.
No.
And it's
you're right.
really, I think it's really sad. And if I had my way, I'd actually put into planning legislation that any new houses couldn't have a fence more than 3 feet high at the back or the front, kind of thing. Because when we were growing up, you shout over to your neighbours. Now you can't even see your neighbour.
Yeah.
Next door because they're hidden, kind of thing. So and it's such a shame, kind of thing. So, but I do enjoy that, and I think I do encourage people to either do it themselves or get involved in doing it, because you can get so much for it. I mean, the last Full Monty, I got all the team pink yellow t-shirts with the Full Monty logo on it, and then I organised them for all to get onto the dance floor, and for everyone to sort of clap them. And I was just stood at the back watching them, and everyone's cheering them and stuff like that. I've never had a prouder moment watching those people. It was just incredible, and they deserved every single clap that was given to them, kind of thing. But like you, we call them virtual signallers over here, where they're doing it all for the wrong reasons. You
Yeah.
know, whether or not that's politically or just for their own self-esteem or their own narcissistic, realizations. It's just, I think it disgusts me.
Yeah. Yeah.
To varying degrees, some more than others, kind of thing, and no more than in politics. Over here, as you know, I'm the chairman of the Royal British Legion, and we had so much planned for 2019, the VE Day celebrations, the Remembrance Sunday, and most of those all had to be cancelled, kind of thing. And Horwich, we walk around Horwich, and there's 2,500 people, 3,000 people joining.
Wow.
But it's non-political. So everyone turns up at the cenotaph on bottom of Lever Park Avenue, and then people go and lay the wreaths, right? This time we couldn't, so we just said, right, you can just go and turn up and lay your wreaths. And you just do it in your own privacy, that's what it is, and I do one for a young lad from Horwich. He was the youngest Horwicher to die in the First World War. He was only 16, literally just turned 16, and he was on a ship going to Russia, a big destroyer, and he got sunk by the Germans. And I just put one up for him, and just because he's actually the youngest lad, and then everyone went and put the wreaths up and stuff like that, laid them in their own time, except for two party members of the Labour Party who had to take photographs of themselves doing it, then publish them. Oh, look at me. I'm putting a wreath down. Keeping in mind, one of these idiots actually in Bolton Council actually said that the British played a minor part in the Second World War.
Yeah, sure they did. They didn't do anything.
No. Right. Okay. The Americans came into the war, right? But that wasn't until 1942. From 39 to 42, we stood alone on this bloody island, fending off, and we had what's its name? Pilots from Canada, Australia, England, and all, the few who were fighting to keep them back. That was for 3 years we did that. And it's just, I just find when people virtual signal over charity, I find it very distasteful, kind of thing. You're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Where I live in Hamilton, we have an airport here, and this airport was actually a training base for the Spitfire flyers or pilots in the Second World War. So we used to train them here, send them over to England to fight with the British, and this because we have very similar weather conditions to where they were going to be taken off from and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's we've got a connection too.
Yeah. The thing is at that particular time, England, with the help of Australia and Canada, we were fighting off the might of the German Luftwaffe, and they were ready to actually, and it's, they kept them back just long enough that they gave up and did something very stupid. But, if it wasn't for the Canadians and South Africans and, all these other places, I know you want your own independence and stuff like that.
Oh, Canada's never said that.
Is it not? I thought they did. No.
We're as far as I know, we're proud members of the Commonwealth.
Yeah. The thing is, I like the Commonwealth, right? But the thing is, I'm not a fan of the institution of royalty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. I think the Queen does a marvellous job and stuff like that, but I think it's the establishment that she is the head of that is the big issue, kind of thing.
It's so archaic now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, giving knighthoods and stuff like that, stuff it.
Well, I've
I mean,
seen
I'd
some of the
like to
people
say,
that have gotten it lately, and it's like, no way these people should be knights.
exactly, yeah. But the thing is, it's all grace and favour
Yeah,
nominations, isn't it? And
yeah,
occasionally you might get a lollipop lady,
yeah,
who might get an OBE or something like that, kind of chuck a breadcrumb through them. So
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, it's Horwich is an incredibly generous place, and I think it will continue. I mean, in the next decade, it's actually going to grow by 25 to 30% in population.
Wow. Let's hope the new people bring that positive attitude with it, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think we're looking to regenerate the town centre. Kind of thing, got £4.5 million of that to do that. So we need to sort things out to make sure that the town is a functional place. But unfortunately, you've got one road in and one road out. And we've
Yeah.
got a minimum of 3,500 cars coming into Horwich. So it's like anywhere. Whenever you get any development, the last thing to happen is investment in local infrastructure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Get the money in first.
yeah. So that's what got me involved in politics now locally.
But that led to you becoming more involved in politics, as you just said. So
Yeah.
what is your current status as a politician?
I'm a town councillor at Horwich Town Council.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I never thought I would be. We didn't start this to become councillors. What we wanted to do is get the administration at the time to treat Horwich more fairly. Because Horwich was accounting for about 30%, I think, of the income into Bolton.
Wow.
Bolton is a town of 285,000 people. Horwich is 20,000.
Wow.
So there was people always used to say that Bolton, Horwich is the cash cow for Bolton, and it's true. It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Business rates, council tax, we pay an awful lot into Bolton, a lot more than we ever get out. But we weren't getting anything. They knocked down the leisure centre and they built a smaller one, and they said no, it's the same size. So I got Pete Revald, the local photographer, to stick his drone up, take a picture of them side by side, and that blew their argument out of the water, kind of thing. And it was just ridiculous, kind of thing, because it was a great leisure centre, that wasn't it? They just ran it down.
They did everything there. They had the picture show, the movies. They had the table tennis, or not table tennis, badminton rackets or courts down on the lower level. They had squash. Yeah, squash. They had the swimming pool I remember every so often they used to drain the pool and fill it with salt water and bring in dolphins.
Yeah, they brought in dolphins. Yeah. Do you know, to me now, when I look at that, I just cringe because it's cruel. It's so cruel that to dolphins.
It is. It is.
It's like these sea life world parks, whatever. If it was up to me, I'd shut them all down.
Is that right?
Yeah, I just think that the entertainment ones are just horrible, teaching them how to do tricks and stuff like that.
Well, the biggest thing I got out of it was they brought a baby lion for some reason, and I was sat playing with a baby lion for a while in Horwich Leisure Centre front doorway.
I don't remember.
On the stairs up to the pool.
Yeah, we had a local celebrity. He's a well-known guy, and he had a goat that used to walk around Norwich.
Who was that? Frank Dibner or Alan?
No, I can't remember his name.
Not Alan Diddle.
Daly. No, I'm trying to think of the name. I can't remember his name, but he was a real character. A proper one of those proper lovable rogues.
Do you remember at the leisure centre they used to give us swimming lessons?
Yeah.
Right. And one of the instructors,
she could have been female.
She could have been a stunt double for the Mighty Atom off of the old Russ Abbott show. Do you remember her?
Yeah. Do you know? She was called Mrs. Stone.
Mrs. Stone. That's right.
Stone. Yeah. And she was horrible, right?
Yeah.
One of my brothers cannot swim because she pushed him in, and it terrified him that he never went back again.
Yeah.
I remember watching a film and thinking, "Oh my God, that's Mrs. Stone. Do you know who the character was? Buster
Uh,
Blake or whatever her name is.
Beulah Ballbreaker.
Ballbreaker, yeah. It's just like, because she was just round, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And I think she looked, she looked like one of the Oompa Loompas. She was not a very nice teacher, you know.
She was an angry woman.
You know, why am I doing this job with children? Kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
Stop running, you know.
So, as a counselor, then what kind of stuff have you? And I'm going to give you a chance to toot your own horn here. What have you done?
Well, the thing is first and foremost, we've actually got, for the first time in many, many years, a council that is supporting the local community rather than being whipped by Bolton. It was for most of the last 45 years, Bolton Council has been run by Labour, which controls Horwich Council, and we just lost so much in Horwich, you know, it's getting ridiculous. So, but the problem is the local Labour councillors in Horwich would not say boo to a goose. They were whipped. If they wanted to do anything in Horwich, they'd do it. Like, do you remember that little park across your children's playground, across from where you used to live on Richmond Street?
No.
On Leicester Avenue and Burn Avenue. Yeah, there was a little ginnel between the old vicarage and the house. That took you off some grass and stuff. And there was a children's park there.
Okay.
Yeah, and they built houses on it, and not a single Labour councillor said anything about it, kind of thing. So the first thing is we've got people whose only sole interest isn't in party politics. It's actually in what's in the best interest of our local community. And to that point is we don't have a whip. So when it comes to voting on something, any one of our councillors can vote any way they like. If they agree with the majority, disagree, whatever, we don't have any whip, whereas mainstream parties all have a whip. And if you don't do as you're told...
Sorry, I got to interrupt you here.
A whip.
Yeah, we don't have whips in Canada. I mean, we have whips, but not like your political whip. So explain what a whip is.
Yeah, a political whip it's actually a position held by a member of the party, and it's usually a fellow councillor, and he's the one. If there's an issue, he will go around and make sure everybody votes the same way. And if they don't, they get threatened from anything from they get deselected at the next election or whatever. And it creates a lot of disharmony within the political parties, a lot of turmoil, especially at the local level. So they will tell the local councillors of that party how to vote. That's it, you know, and there's consequences if they don't follow the whip, kind of thing. So that's what a whip is. Whereas we set up, after being a community group, decided to set up a political party. And one of the cornerstones of that is not to have a whip. So any councillor in our party can vote any way they want, whatever they feel is in the best interests of the local ward or the town, kind of thing.
That's amazing.
And it works really, really well. And you've actually got all these new parties, local parties propping up. You know, there's a Farmer for Kersley First party. There's all these first parties, you know, because what it was about started to put our town first rather than everywhere else, kind of thing. So me and another guy founded this Horwich First group that became Horwich Community First group. That's now evolved into a political party that covers both Horwich and Blackrod, the village on the hill, the village of the damned, Horwich. Funnily enough, when I was in Horwich, I very rarely dated girls from Horwich because I thought Blackrodders were posher. So the vast majority of Blackrod girls I've dated you know, we're Blackrock girls kind of thing.
Nice, nice.
Because I just thought they were posher kind of thing.
Well, we
And they
didn't know
were.
them, right?
Eh?
We didn't know them like we knew the Horwich girls.
No. The thing is, it's like that gene pool, isn't it? Kind of thing.
Yeah, a
if you're
little bit.
mixing your own gene pool, you know. Whereas
And-
Blackrock, it was
And we're
only
back-
half a mile away.
We're back to the Julian banjos again. Ding, ding,
I
ding,
know.
ding, 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 ding.
But it made that half a mile distance made a huge difference.
Oh,
to
sure it
the
did.
gene pool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I remember saying I'd never marry a Horwich girl, kind of thing.
Well, you stood ground on that.
I
You
certainly have done. Yeah.
stuck to it. Yeah.
Have I come close to it? Yeah.
But you could. I mean, it's not too late, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, going back to this political party, so we set it up. We had an election in 2019, May 2019. We got as many councillors to stand as possible, but we were missing 3 because it has 14 councillors, and we didn't know how we were going to do, kind of thing. Anyway, every council that stood for us won the seat, and we wiped out Labour on the council.
Fantastic.
For the first time in probably 70 years. This is the first time that there's not been a Labour councillor, kind of thing.
Wow.
And I'm not bashing Labour as such, because I used to be a member of the Labour Party. I always voted Labour all my life. But they expelled me from the Labour Party because I was championing doing stuff that was in the best interests of Horwich rather than the party. So they expelled me, kind of thing. But unfortunately, when they did that, that let me free to set up and pursue the political party with other members, you know. And they rued the day they expelled me.
Yeah, no doubt. No
if you
doubt.
would have expelled me, there might have not been a political party, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But
Well,
it's
I'll
a
tell you-
combined effort, you know. We've
Yeah,
got
well,
a lot
and
of-
that's good. That goes
Yeah.
to tell a lot about the fact that it is community based, right?
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's
we call
awesome.
it- yeah, we call it, it's our subline is your local party. And we describe it as a community political party, you know.
need more of that.
Yeah, you're not going to stand for Parliament, you know, because someone in West Horton's not going to vote for Horwich and Blackrock First Independence, kind of thing. But it's a community-based party, and there is, you know, and I think they're growing and growing and becoming more established, and more people are saying, why do I want to vote for a mainstream party who all they talk about is national issues? But because we're community-based, we do a lot of things in the community. There's one lad, you know, I'm glad he's ran out of paint, because he walks around Horwich painting stuff. He's one of our councillors, and he paints, you know, benches and stuff like that, and he does a great job, absolutely fantastic. And do you know where the fields were next to Albert Street? There's a big container there, and it was full of graffiti. It's a changing rooms for football, and it was full of graffiti. So him and another local lad went and painted it all. Unfortunately, the day after, some horrible git went and spray painted it with graffiti, just covered it, absolutely covered it. He went out that day and painted the whole thing again. It's just unbelievable. But that little fucking git who vandalised it, he didn't come back, kind of thing. So,
No, he didn't, eh?
well, we put a whisper on the street saying we're out to get him. Kind of thing.
I've got friends
yeah,
in
and
these places.
Yeah, it's growing strength to strength. You know, we've got ward councillors who sit on Bolton. We've got 2 in there already. We should have had an election last year, which would have put another 2 on, you know, but they were postponed, so they're carrying through this way. So we've got really good candidates standing, because I believe that we need serious people to do a serious job.
Absolutely.
And you know, both from very different walks of life. One spent 20 years in the army, you know, specialist in arms, and trains younger soldiers, so he's got all that background. Left the army after 20 years, fought in Afghanistan and Iraq and all over the world. And he's now a dog groomer. And he loves it, you know, kind of thing.
I can see this connection. Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, and you know, it's just getting the right people kind of thing and
Of
getting
course.
people to do it. You know, so I can't wait for COVID so I can. I want to. I was hoping to actually at least do my duck race. You know,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I did a Christmas treasure hunt around Norwich, which was for all the kids, and we had 1,500 entries. In you know, and it's all free to enter and stuff like that. And brass bands and music and stuff. It had a really lovely feel to the town centre kind
That's
of thing,
nice.
you know, which was great. And it reintroduced people back into the town centre. You know, people. I mean, there was a woman and she'd been living in Horwich for 30 years, and she didn't know there was a butcher's. You know, it's like God. Greeley's has been there over 120 years, I think.
Is that the one down near the pharmacy there, the drugstore, across from Modern
No,
Cottage?
no. This is on Winteray Lane,
Okay.
Greeley's. It's been there forever. I used to work for them as a milk lad and then a butcher's lad. But then the militant part of me started evolving back then when I was about 15. And I asked for a pay rise and I was sacked on the spot. So I went down the road to the bakery, got a job there and doubled my wage.
Attaboy.
So, you know, it's not a bad thing. You know, sometimes the same with the same company doesn't make much in way of increasing your salary. Whereas if you move, you can get, instead of getting 2-3%, probably get 8 to 20%, depending where you're going. Kind of thing.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it worked for you.
yeah, well, it certainly did. So,
Yeah. Well, listen,
yeah.
Craig, this has been
Right.
phenomenal. I could talk to you for hours and hours and hours, but I've only
You
got
can't.
so
The
much
thing is, you
space on my
can't
hard
shut
drive.
me up. You just can't shut me up.
No,
So,
nothing wrong with it. It's fascinating listening to the what you've become and the stories that you've gone throughout your maturing years has been phenomenal. And I would love to off camera talk more.
yeah.
You were always one of my favorite people growing up in Harwich. You were. I considered you a friend as I still do to this day, and I thank you for that friendship.
Yeah. Just out of interest, do you get a
Yeah.
lot of single women looking at this YouTube thing? Because
We might have until now.
I'm single. If you're interested,
That's right, girls. He's single too.
They're probably going. I'm not surprised. To be honest, most of them do, kind of thing. So
Yeah, or just ignore it.
yeah,
That's nice.
yeah.
But this has been awesome. I've really enjoyed catching up with you. It's been a lot of fun,
Yeah,
a lot of laughs.
yeah, it's been smashing.
And again, I'd love to catch up more on an off-screen basis as well. So keep that in mind if you could. You
Well,
know what I mean?
I try and catch up with. I think I've seen about 3 so far.
With my interviews.
Yeah, the interviews, and I'm trying to catch up because there is some fascinating things some of them don't. You know, I mean, I didn't even know Hobby was a musician.
You didn't know he was in a band? Well,
Yeah.
he's not a musician. He's a singer.
Singer. Well, yeah. But the thing is I started seeing him put his photography up.
Yeah.
And I've commissioned hundreds of photographers over the last 30 years. So I consider myself someone who knows about photography and stuff like that. I can't shoot for crap, mate. If you put a camera in my hands, I'm a not too bad art director. And I saw his work and it was phenomenal. And
Yeah, his work is beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just got, and like you said, I've got an eye away from the camera to set things up and art direct. But you can't learn this. It's something you've got instinctively to become a really good photographer. And the compositions with the light and stuff like that, because composition, get that right, you know. It's like when you shoot a car. You know, I know from shooting many, many cars, you don't shoot a car from the front to the back. There's a very specific angle that you've got to get it on to make it look, you know, because either it's going to be too fat, too small, you know. Same with boats. I've photographed lots of fancy boats kind of thing, and there's a specific angle. It's a bit difficult trying to take it when you're paddling, trying to keep up with a 60-foot catamaran in full sail.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been fantastic speaking to you, you know, so
I've really enjoyed it.
Send us a link when you're when you publish something.
Well, I was going to ask you that. If you've got anybody that you know of that has a private business and you think they might want to promote it, I don't have to know the people. In fact, I'm trying to reach out to get people that I don't know so that I can interview them and get their word out. Because like I say, this is all about getting people to meet people that they may not have met before or may not meet because of COVID, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I plug my own business. If anybody needs any graphic design websites, give us a call.
Do you have a website for that?
No, I took it down. It was just wasn't right, and it's like a busman's holiday. It's like a builder. If he starts building his own house, it's going to take him years, kind of thing. So I need to put it up, kind of thing. But what I'll do, I'll send you my portfolio so you can actually have a look at it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it's just the thing is, I design things that have got longevity and actually effective rather than fancy designs. Anyone can be a stylist and do something really cool, but the thing is, we're in the job of selling people's products or services. If you don't get that right, kind of thing. So
you might as well forget about it.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll let you go. God, what time is it? He said 20 to 9.
How long have we been talking? This might be a two-parter.
I know. Sorry. I just don't shut up, me. Do you know what it is? In my own defence, I've been shielding for 9 months, and I only get out once or twice a month out of the house. I live in a village. No one else is out, So I'll have contact with someone probably once or twice a month when I'm going out shopping. I borrow because I've no car either, So, and I'll, where Belmont is, don't you?
Yeah.
I live up there. Yeah. So
you live up there now.
Back into Horwich, I might see a couple more people. So
you need one of those e-bikes.
Yeah. What are they? Oh, the electric bikes.
Electric scooters. Yeah.
Yeah, my brother. Yeah, it's coming. The thing is, you've got to remember 2,000 feet above Horwich here.
Yeah.
And it's a very steep hill, Sheep House Lane.
Yeah.
It's been lovely speaking to you. And,
enjoyed it a lot, buddy. Anytime you want to catch up, drop me a line.
Next time, we need to get a bottle of wine, a couple of beers.
I don't drink. I've never drank.
No, nor do I. I just have occasional. I think I've had about 2 pints in the last 9 months.
I think I may have had 1 pint in the past 53 years.
Yeah.
So
you just don't drink. You're a teetotaler. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even like tea.
I
had too much of it over there.
Yeah.
And then I went for a break. Pardon?
Yeah. So you're a coffee man then?
No, I'm a Diet Coke man. Oh, that's a plug.
Right. Yeah.
That's a plug. Sorry. Diet Coke, if you're listening and would like to endorse my channel and my show, please do.
Yeah. And there's also Virgin Coke available.
Well, that's what I've heard, but I've never seen it. I'm going to look that up. But listen.
Anyway.
If you enjoyed our chat, please share this with all your friends once I post it. There's a like button, like the video, or subscribe to my channel, folks. There's plenty more like this. Craig is just one of the people in the neighborhood, so to speak. And I'm going to try and get as many people out there for you guys to listen to, talk to, or hear about, and find out about as I possibly can. Craig, thank you so much once again, buddy. You'll always be a friend in my heart and in my mind. I appreciate that so much. And thank you for everything that you do for Horwich. As much as I've left there a long time ago, it's still in my heart.
Yeah. As the great two Ronnies used to say, it's good night from me and it's a good night from him.
Yeah. I guess, how tall are you? 6'1"?
6 foot. Yeah, just 6 foot. I'm shrinking though.
I'm 6'2", so I guess I'll be the big one.
Yeah.
You can be the little Ronnie.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Craig. This was awesome. I appreciate it. You too, buddy. Thank you. Everybody, thank you for watching. Thanks for listening. Thanks for being a part of my channel. If you do like this video, hit like, hit subscribe to follow and see more episodes. There are more coming in the future. And by all means, go out and do something great.